Hello everyone and welcome to my Starseed Origins reading. I am Hannah from Spiritual Tarot and I decided to do this mini series for the different Starseed groups as a way to gain more insight into the origins of our souls from the different groups, as well as what our mission is while on Earth. So I focused on the Pleiadians, the Andromedans, Arcturus, Orion, and Lyrans. So if you resonate with any of these starseed groups, please continue watching these videos. Hopefully you'll gain some insight into who you are and what your mission is while you're here on Earth. And just kind of some advice as far as self-care and how you can work with your energy as a starseed. So please, I hope you enjoy this. Let me know how you like this reading. And we are just going to dive right in. So enjoy. Okay, next we have Orion. Alright, Orion, what do we got here? We have Fire Ant, Victim. Make a vision board. Ooh, so much green, you guys. Ooh, Brazilianite. Flexibility. Ooh, this is so weird, you guys. I'm officially creeped out. So great. So I'm going to start this off by saying that there's a lot of mixed information about who the starseeds from Orion really are. And from the limited research that I've done, because I don't really remember a lot of it, I know that Orion is a gateway, right? So it actually is a place where lots of different beings from different origins have kind of come to meet in this like whole celestial meetings place. And there's dark energy and light energy, and obviously sometimes there's the clashing of that, right? And it's all about integration, and it's all about, weighing the good, like there's no good and evil, but weighing out the different energies. And so sometimes you may read something and it will feel very negative to you. And then sometimes you'll read or hear something about Orion and it'll be positive. And I think that you need to only take what resonates for you, right? If you read some random article about Orion or starseeds from Orion and it just feels very negative and not in a way that resonates with your heart, then just let it go, right? Because I feel like it is a place of integration. So if your soul came from there or had a life there, then you're really learning about balance, and you're learning about understanding the shadow side of yourself. And that is very noble work. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise. This is the first grouping also where we've had a dominant color being green, and that has to do with the heart chakra. So I find that super interesting. So you guys, I'm seeing kind of similar energy with the Arcturians, where you may have had past lives as warriors, soldiers, or, general kind of people who were like on a quest for either survival or fighting for a cause, fighting for their people. The Knight of Pentacles is coming up, and I'm kind of seeing that as less of like someone who is like actively fighting in battle, and more so someone who is kind of exploring new territories. So maybe you were from somewhere else, but you ended up in Orion to kind of meet other groups of beings and learn about them and share your message of who you were. We also have the Four of Swords, and that's all about inner contemplation, inner rest. It's all about kind of taking that breath after you've been through like a long journey or a battle, and taking the time to meditate, to think about the things that you've learned on your journey, to relax, to allow your mind and your body to heal. So I really feel as though your soul was on a really big journey to kind of expand outside of its home and its home world, and you were met with much more than what you thought you could expect, and it kind of threw you for a loop. There's a chance that maybe you guys met some darker beings than what you had initially intended. I also get the sense that maybe your mind was kind of, I don't want to say traumatized, but I do feel like you came here to heal because of something that happened to you on Orion, right? And we see the Death card, and I'm just seeing the black and white as opposites. So when we're talking about the shadow self and meeting kind of, the dark and the light, there's a sense that this was kind of something that needed to happen cosmically, where you encountered an opposite, and it really kind of basically made your mind unfold in ways that you never expected. You were kind of forced to see shadow sides of your being, of the people around you, and it kind of made you need to pull back, drop away, and reincarnate in a totally separate place, so you can kind of just recover from the things that you learned and from perhaps the trauma that you experienced. I do feel like because of that, you may have experienced some blocks in this life with not wanting to leave Earth. If that makes any sense. Like, you're just like, I don't know if I want to deal with everything that's going on out there, and I'd rather just stay here and just be like on this nice little planet, and I don't want to go out there again. Okay, bye. So that's what I'm getting. I'm getting like maybe you have like some blinders on and you don't want to deal with things. And I think that this Death card is always a reminder that nothing is permanent, and that we also need to understand the idea of death as being transformation. So I see this as like your soul that reincarnates really quickly, and I feel like you've had a lot of lives like in quick succession, and I feel like you might remember a lot from your past lives because you're like, they just keep happening and I just keep being like boom 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 boom. That being said, I think that you need to understand, I think you probably are reincarnating so quickly because you're not allowing your soul time to understand why it's learning the lessons that it's learning. And so now that you're here, you need to kind of slow down and reevaluate, what am I doing here? Why have I reincarnated in so many places? What am I supposed to be learning? What is it about my shadow side that I have not wanted to come to terms with so far? So let's move on to the green cards we have here. We have Brazilianite. I'm actually not super familiar with this stone, but it is a green stone. So when we talk about green stones, we're talking about the heart chakra. But the difference between green and pink, when we have to talk about the heart chakra, I like to think of it as maternal and paternal energy. Green being the father energy in relation to love. So what do I mean by that? I mean, this is the kind of love that is protective, that is nurturing, but also teaches. And I just see it as more of a loving, guiding, and just protective energy than the pink love, which is more about, intimacy and like selfless giving. There's like a definite distinction. So when I see this green, I think that your your soldier side of your history is coming out a little bit. I think that you naturally want to protect the people around you. I think that you naturally kind of want, you're like that mother bear, or like maybe like the papa bear, where like you care for people, and not in like a lovey-dovey way, but in the way that like you want what's best for them, and you will do anything you can to protect them no matter what. I also feel like you want to protect people that can't protect themselves. We have the word victim here, and you are just really a pioneer for the people that are hurt and downtrodden, because you have lived that in your past lives. So you really, like, let's see, you hate seeing, let's say, animal abuse. You hate seeing anything happen to children, to the elderly. Like, that really hits you in the heart, because you want to stand for people who can't stand for themselves. And I think that that really is like your mission in this life, is to reconcile any kind of any past karma where you weren't able to stand up for yourself, or you weren't able to stand up for others, or you weren't able to fight for like the people around you. You definitely feel for victims in the scenario where, you know, you might have been hurt in the past, and now you see others being hurt and you just can't stand for it. And I think that it's really good. I think that that means that you're a natural empath, and you know, you need to not let that control you, but you need to use that to really push to be the champion for those people that can't, you know, help themselves. Every empath has a choice. You can let all those feelings and all of that sensitivity take over your life, or you can use that to become a very powerful healer, very powerful psychic, etc., etc. For your self-care, we have make a vision board. I think that that's really cool, and different idea, because you guys, I just get the sense that you feel a lot, that you're highly sensitive, that you feel like you've had a lot, and there's always stuff running through your mind, and it might be really hard for you to manifest, because you are just like kind of running on a hamster wheel in a way, and it might be hard for you to step off of it. And when you make a vision board, you're kind of saying, hey, I'm in control, this is what I want. And sometimes you might not know what you want, and then the vision board can help you with that too. So use that as your like way of meditating, where you can really kind of connect with who you are and what you're supposed to be doing in this life, by creating a clear intention for how you want your life to go. And your vision board doesn't even necessarily have to be like, what do I want in 5 years? It could be something as simple as, I want to be more psychic, and I'm going to put together like a vision board of all of these, you know, blue and purple things to open my upper chakras. The last thing that we're going to talk about is your animal from the animal spirit deck, and this is the fire ant. So obviously the fire ant relates to the element fire. We haven't really gotten too much fire energy in this reading, but let's talk about the behavior of a fire ant. So fire ants tend to like swarm, right? And they have that kind of like hive mentality. And I think that that's something that you need to heal from. It's something that you may find yourself in the past, in past lives or in this life, you know, getting caught up in the moment. If, let's say, if you feel upset about something, or, you know, if other people are upset, then your, you know, empathic feelings can kind of get twisted in with other people's feelings, and it might be hard for you to differentiate between what is really mine and what is actually someone else's. So that is really the first the first law of learning about your empathic abilities is learning to differentiate between what is truly yours and what is just something that you picked up from someone else. And it can be really easy to feel victimized by the feelings that you feel because you don't know where they come from. And it also is really easy to get caught up in other people's emotions, especially people you're close to. If you are constantly being affected by, you know, if you have someone who's depressed that's close to you, someone who has a lot of anxiety, you could pick up on their stuff and just kind of feel like it's one and the same. You could feel that it's yours when in reality it's not. So I think that this card is telling you to be aware of when you lose yourself in group situations, and take that time. Like, I just keep going back to the Four of Swords. Take time to separate yourself, to, you know, relax and meditate and just really separate yourself, because that's the only way you're going to figure out what is truly yours and what is other people's that surround you. You can use green to protect your own heart. You can use that energy to create a barrier to help you kind of sift through all of this energetic information that you're receiving. So definitely, you know, keep that in mind. Make sure that you remember that you are not a slave to your feelings, you're not a slave to your emotions. And, you know, you can feel for people without feeling what they actually feel. And once you get yourself back into alignment, then you will truly be able to, you know, work on your own soul purpose, which is to kind of help the people that can't help themselves, be of service. I think green is also a huge color for service. You know, so it's not just the act of love, but it's the act of doing, you know, of serving others, of helping others, of healing others. There's just so much, you know, life-giving healing energy that comes from green and comes from the heart chakra. And I think that you guys can really really bring something to the world by, you know, sharing that light. So for all of you Orion Starseeds, that is your reading for today. Thank you. And we are going to move on to the last final group. This reading has taken longer than I was expecting.